Kobali Samsar T6 Cruiser. Make it so and engage. Greetings everybody, the Doctor here. Welcome back to a brand new Starship review. Today we are going to review the Samsar T6 Cruiser. This is a Kobali ship. What makes this ship very special is that it was obtainable for free during the 5th anniversary of Star Trek Online. All you had to do was put a special project in your reputation events and then go earn 1,000 commendations. And like 300 or 400 of those were earned just by doing the mission Dust to Dust. And then after that, you just had to earn the remaining to get the ship. And then once you unlocked that ship on one character, all your other characters could get it for a much reduced commendation price, making the ship very, very easy to get. I pretty much got the ship on almost every character just because I could. It was that easy to do. But what makes this ship special and unique is the fact that it is a Tier 6 ship, so it's pretty much a free cryptic Tier 6 ship that they have given us for this brand new in-game content. Also, it has command abilities, and that's unique because the command ability ships are the newest ships basically out that have special abilities. They are newer than the intelligence officer ships, which were released back when Delta Rising came out. So the command ships are even newer. So there's a lot of good going for it just on that. It's a free ship. Yeah, you had to grind a little bit, but honestly, it wasn't too bad. Then you have new command abilities to play with, and you're able to have a Tier 6 cruiser. Now, this ship fits a certain role, I would say, and not so much other roles. It really is more of a healing, tanking support craft rather than a damage craft. So let's read a little bit about it. In order to do that, I had to go to a character where I had not opened a box yet of the ship, because you will not find it in the exchange. Again, it was during the 5th anniversary event. So this is what the box looks like once you have claimed it from your reputation. And here's what it says about the ship. Kobali starships are known for their ability to provide support to their allies in large-scale starship combat. The Samsar Cruiser is a durable Kobali Tier 6 cruiser that was outfitted to fill the role of a mobile command center. The Kobali Samsar Cruiser comes equipped with the Regenerative Integrity Field Console. When activated, it provides a large hull heal that improves in strength as health decreases. In addition, it causes all outgoing directed energy attacks to heal your starship for the amount of damage dealt. This console also provides a passive bonus to hull healing. It can be equipped in any console slot. It can only be equipped on... it may be equipped on any starship. So you can use this console on any starship. That's a nice little bonus there. After achieving level 5 in your Kobali Samsar Cruiser Starship Mastery, you will unlock the Emergency Response Starship trait. While this trait is slotted, your Hull and Shield Heal Bridge officer abilities will have their recharge times reduced by 10% if you suffer damage while below 50% hull health. This can occur once every 4 seconds. So what you can gather from this text is that the Kobali ship is really meant for support. Hull strength. 43,500 at level 40, and then 50,000 at level 50, and then 58,000 at level 60. So it does have that scaling hull because it's a Tier 6 ship. So at level 60, you will have your max hull strength. Has a shield modifier of 1.15, so your shield capacity will be a little bit higher. Crew of 650. For the size of this ship, that's actually a rather small crew. Weapons, 4 fore and 4 aft, so pretty balanced, but this is a cruiser, so you're going to end up putting beams on this thing. This is a beam boat. Device slots for bridge officer stations, 1 lieutenant tactical, 1 lieutenant commander, command engineering, 1 command engineering, 1 lieutenant commander science, 1 ensign universal. All that sounds complicated. But when we go look into the stations, you'll see how that makes more sense because they're hybrid seatings. You could put a regular like engineering officer in it, or you can put a command officer in it and use command powers instead. And I'll show you how that works. I have a few command powers selected right now, so we can take a look at some of those command powers for the first time. Console modifications: 3 tactical, 5 engineering, 3 science, so not very much on tactical. Again, also this is limited. It has only one, where's the tactical? One lieutenant, no, one ensign universal, but there it is, 1 lieutenant tactical. So this ship is limited in tactical abilities. And it has 3 tactical console slots, but then 5 engineering, 7 degrees per second. It turns slow. This is a slow-moving cruiser. Don't expect it to be fast. It's got a slight impulse modifier, and then +5 to all power, the universal console, and it also, this is unique with this ship, comes with a warp core called the Kobali Field Stabilizing Warp Core, which is part of a space set. It's basically the 4th item for the space set. So if you get all the items together, you're going to get a 2, 3, and 4-piece bonus from the entire space set. But just note that that warp core can only be obtained from this ship. So if you don't have this ship, you may have the other pieces to that space set from playing the mission and getting them, but you're not going to have the warp core unless you get this ship. It, of course, has its mastery package: absorber plating, rapid repairs, enhanced plating, armored hull, emergency response, which is the trait. And then because it is a cruiser, it has the command communications array, strategic maneuvering, shield frequency modulation, weapon system efficiency, and attract fire. This is a cruiser at heart, but it's more of a support cruiser, a healing cruiser, something that you will really benefit your team if your team needs to be buffed up a lot in shields or hull strength or that sort of thing. Like, let's say you're playing a bunch of Borg and they're really tearing down your shields and all that stuff. This ship can really help bolster your team and keep them alive. That's the kind of role that this ship plays. This is not a damage or DPS ship, and that is shown in its limitation of tactical bridge officer seating. It is very limited in tactical bridge officer seating, which makes this not so much a damage or DPS type ship. So don't expect to do a massive amount of damage with this ship. Don't take it into battle thinking you're going to own everybody, kill everybody, destroy the world, and win the game with this ship. You are not going to win the game with this ship by yourself. It is more of that you will help your team with this ship. This is a team player type ship. So kind of keep that in mind. That's the role that this ship best plays in. Alright, now it's time to actually go take a look at the ship, and for that I'm going to have to switch characters. So I'm going to pause the video, switch characters, get on my character that has the ship equipped, and then we can look over all of that. So stand by. Welcome back, everybody. So here I am on my engineering character, my primary engineering character. He is the last Doctor. He is geared up and ready to go for this. And I've actually changed his build. Previous cruisers that I've done on him have been anti-proton based, and I went with a different energy type this time, which I think complements this ship, or at least in a way tries to give it the most damage that I can get out of it, because it's not a damage oriented ship, but yet I still wanted to be able to do some damage. I don't want to be, a fifth wheel out there doing nothing. I want to be able to, take down an enemy or two and help the team if I can. So I'm going to show you that, but before we jump into all of that, note that I do have the complete Kobali space set on this ship, and that is unique because you can put, of course, any space set you want on this ship. But I wanted to see what the ship would be like with the full Kobali set. So what we need to find is Dust to Dust.
We have a situation on Kobali Prime. You and I were both asked by name to help. All that
I wish you could
that the
mute
Vaadwaur
that.
have launched a large offensive and have retaken the area in front of their temple, the place where they keep unconscious Vaadwaur stored. They need our help to retake the area, though I have a feeling something else is going on. Can you help with the situation?
Absolutely not. I'm here just to look at gear. So go to the mission Dust to Dust, which is now at the end. It's basically the last mission of the Delta Quadrant. So if you haven't completed the Delta Quadrant missions, you will have to complete those to get to Dust now. It was the 5th anniversary special featured episode, but they moved it into the storyline. So now you do need to get through all of Delta Rising in order to get to Dust to get this equipment. But what it offers is a complete space set for any ship. There is a Kobali deflector array, a hyper impulse engine, and a regenerative shield. So all 3 of these pieces make up that space set. Now you will of course have to replay this mission to get each piece. But once you have them, you will have 3 pieces, and you will then be able to have a 2-piece and 3-piece set bonus. But you will not have the 4-piece set bonus unless you have the Kobali warp drive, or the warp engine. The warp engine is not here in Dust to Dust. Again, that is only on the ship itself, the Samsar. So if you don't have the Samsar, you're not going to have that warp engine to make up the whole set. But I do. I went ahead and grinded this mission as much as I could, and I've got each of the Kobali things on here so that we can experience the Kobali ship in its natural native environment, so to speak, with all of its native abilities. And there's a lot of abilities on this ship to go through, guys. A lot. Before we jump into the layout, the abilities, and all that junk, let's take a quick look at how you can customize the visuals of this ship. It's very large. Let's see, let's do customize your ship. It's a very large ship. Here it is. I'm zoomed in all the way there. You only have one template for it called Samsar. This is what it naturally looks like. I actually have changed mine. This is what it looks like. It's very pink, which the Kobali are very pink. If you've played any of the Kobali missions or gone to Kobali Prime, they have a very pink color scheme. I actually changed the material on mine to this material. I think the Type 2 material looks so much better than the Type 1. So I changed mine to the Type 2 material, but you've got those 2 materials available for you. Interior, there is a unique interior Kobali bridge. It's not showing up here, but we will look at it. So there is a unique Kobali bridge. Window, you can't change the window type. You can change a couple of the things here, but they're not big changes. The command tower, which is this little thing up here at the top, you can change. You can take the wings off of it, basically. Whoop-de-doo. That ain't much. The winglets. Oh yeah, up here at the front. You can take these winglets off or on. We can change that material. 2 types of material. Again, I wish there were more, but what you gonna do? I wish we had access to like our veteran material type, or that Type 6 material type, which you get on like Tier 6 ships. I wish there was some more options here under material. Unfortunately, there are not, so what you gonna do about that? I guess nothing. Okay, so now it's time to take a look at the build on my ship, and just keep in mind that this build, you know, is not necessarily the best build or the only way to do it. There are a million different ways you can choose to build your ship, and no one is wrong or right about it. It's all opinion, so feel free to do differently than what I've done. I have chosen to go a very cruisery route, trying to really balance the tankiness of it with the DPS of it. Because it doesn't do a lot of damage, I tried to make up for that in a different way. What I have done is gone ahead and put on Advanced Fleet Plasma Beam Arrays. Now the reason why I'm using plasma instead of my anti-protons is because of these 2 science consoles that you can get from your fleet embassy. And I did upgrade these to Mark 14, but basically You know what? They've changed these consoles, haven't they? Okay, let me rephrase this because I forgot about this. In the past, these consoles flat out added plasma damage, even to plasma weapons. I know that it has a plasma proc to energy weapons that are not plasma, or it used to. But what these consoles used to do, basically, is they did add flat out more plasma damage for plasma weapons. And that's why I equipped them back then, because I was just able to boost my plasma damage by using 3 Spire consoles in the tactical, which increased plasma energy weapon damage. As you can see there, plus 35.6 plasma energy weapon damage. But then these also increased it. It was like 10%. 10% each one, and it flat out just helped increase my plasma damage. I guess in total it'd be like 20% more plasma damage by using these 2 consoles. Basically another way to kind of give us like a 4th tactical console slot in a way. But it seems that they have changed what these consoles actually do now in patches, and I guess I should have saw this coming. Let's read here what they do now. Plus 10.7% plasma-based exotic damage. I don't understand what that is. That's new and weird. Then this plasma explosion adds a plasma explosion proc to energy weapons. 2.5 chance of an 1801 plasma damage. Ignore shields. Well, I guess that part's still good because I'm using plasma, and then that's plasma, so maybe that's being buffed in some way. It all works together, I would think. But I don't know what this plasma exotic damage stuff is. So I'm getting that plasma damage a time effect on your energy weapon attacks. I'm not sure what this plasma-based exotic damage is or how that works. If somebody out there can tell me what these consoles now do and how they help, please let me know what that means, that plasma-based exotic damage. Because I'm not particularly using any exotic damage abilities on this ship, so does that mean that that's just not helping me at all on this ship if I'm not using exotic damage? Is that a complete waste now? If it is, then this build has completely changed and is no longer what it was or as powerful as it was. Because in the past, again, it was just a flat out 10% plasma damage increase for plasma weapons. So with both of them together, it was like plus 20%, which is almost as much as a whole 4th tactical console slot, and that's why I went that route. I also did one that improved shield healing because this ship does have a lot of shield healing abilities. I went with a console that also added that. And then the other one resists shield drain and energy drain because that's also a big problem. The whole thing about this ship is its shield regeneration, so I'm just trying to really, improve that as much as possible at the same time. But I'm interested in how these consoles have now changed, because that is some new stuff there that I was not aware of until just now from reading this. But that's how I had it planned anyway, was to use plasma weapons and then use these consoles just to help get my plasma damage up as much as humanly possible. But it seems that has now changed, so I might have to revisit how that works. But I'm still going to keep it for this video, and the ship is not terribly unpowerful, but it seems like it probably was more powerful before they changed these consoles. Alright, I am also using the Romulan Hyperplasma Torpedo in combination with the 0-point energy conduit, both from the Romulan reputation, because the 2-piece bonus of that is, look at that, plus 8.9% plasma energy weapon damage. So the 2-piece from that is also improving my plasma energy weapon damage. Just another thing to buff my energy type as much as possible, and that was the goal here, was to try to get the energy damage up on this really non-damagey type ship. Alright, and of course I've got my universal assimilated module with the kinetic cutting beam, so I get that Omega weapon amplifier. I got EPS, I got Neutronium, I got a shield buffy thingy. And now we come to the fun stuff. This is the specific Kobali stuff. You've got the shield, the warp core, the impulse, and the deflector. So each of these have stats on their own, of course. The shield has an 8712 maximum shield capacity. That's not the highest. But it has a very high shield regeneration rate, and plus 10% of incoming hull healing goes to self, which is a unique ability of the Kobali Regenerative Shield. The Warp Core is all about shield power. Bonus increases at low shield power. Maximum shield power allows your shield power to exceed 125. Improves hull healing. Adds 7.5% of your shield power to your auxiliary power as bonus power. So that's interesting. You've got a shield capacitor as part of this, which is a shield heal and shield power buff that you can put on your hotbar and actually use that. So as you can see, everything is really tied into shields, shield healing, hull healing. That's what this ship is all about. Kobali Hyper Impulse Engine, flight speed. This does increase turn rate a little bit. To self recharge time reduction on hull and shield healing bridge officer abilities. Full impulse speed. The deflector improves hull healing, improves shield healing, improves ship hit points and shield hit points. Resist, hold, disable, knock, repel, and slow. So this is all about healing and buffing up your shields and your hull, basically. But all of these together are part of the set called the Kobali Regenerative Circuitry. Because I have all 4 pieces here on this Kobali ship, I have all 4 bonuses. Well, 3 bonuses total. The 2-piece bonus is called Kobali Reactive Hull Regeneration, which gives me a 0.6 hull regeneration, which increases as my hull HP decreases. So as my hull decreases, I get more hull regeneration. I get a Kobali Nanite screen with the 3-piece bonus of this. It says when receiving damage while at 25% or less hull hit points, there is a 100% chance to apply the Kobali Nanite screen. To self, you will gain 15,000 temporary hit points for 15 seconds. So let me explain this. This will save your butt right here. When your ship gets to a hull strength or a health of 25%, then this Kobali Nanite screen will always kick in. When it kicks in, you will instantly gain 15,000 temporary hit points or hull strength, or your hull strength for 15 seconds. So basically, it's like your hull strength goes down, you take damage, and then instantly you've got a temporary hull strength for 15 seconds, which gives you time to do something like hit Miracle Worker or hit any kind of hull healing ability to fix your hull, keep you from dying. So that's what this feature does. Is basically it'll keep you from dying because it gives you time to do something when you get to a really low hull strength. So that's really cool. Then you have the set 4 bonus Reactive Nanite screen. Again, you would need all 4 of these pieces. This affects your friends and yourself 20 max. So a lot of people that this will help. Within a 5-kilometer sphere, when receiving energy damage, nearby allies receive a hull healing equal to 20% of incoming damage for 15 seconds. So as you take damage, you're actually healing your allies as you take damage. So as you can see, a very team-oriented ship where you help your allies and you help the people around you. And that's what these abilities are about. None of these abilities help you do more damage. All of these abilities are about healing faster, or saving your butt in a crisis, or healing your teammates. That's what this ship is all about. So because I have all of those pieces, I have all of those abilities available to me, and I'm going to show you what they all do. Now the mastery. This has a full 5-piece mastery. Because it's a tier 6 ship, That last one is a starship trait. So the first one is physical and kinetic damage resistance. Being a cruiser, being a ship that can tank a lot of damage, this first one just gives you more physical and kinetic resistance. The second one is more increased hull regeneration. Regenerates 8.5 hull, 1.25% of your current max, every 3 seconds in space. Twice this amount is regenerated out of combat. So more hull regeneration. Enhanced hull plating. Again, all energy damage and radiation damage resistance. Just resisting more damage. And then the fourth one is more hit points, just to give your hull some more health. And then finally, the starship trait is the hull and shield heal recharge time at low health. So this one you don't have to activate. It will do it automatically. That's what I love about these starship traits, is they're all automatic. You don't have to do them manually. When taking damage at 50% or less hull strength, you will gain a 10% recharge time reduction on hull and shield healing bridge officer abilities. Things like, science team or engineering team, those type of things. You will have a 10% reduction on their cooldowns, but you have to be at 50% or less hull strength and taking damage at that hull strength in order for that to kick in. So I wish it kicked in all the time, but no, you do have to be at 50% hull strength, which, to be honest with you, is kind of hard to do at times because it's so easy to heal this ship all the way back up to 100% real easy. But if you do get below 50 and stay there, then you will get this 10% reduction time on hull and shield healing abilities, and then you can heal the ship back up anyway. So I guess it's just something, again, that will help you kind of stay alive longer with this ship. Everything about this ship is to stay alive longer. So that is that. Here is the unique console. This is the Regenerative Integrity Field. This is a high hull heal. Heals hull when dealing damage. This gives you 6,000 hit points. It's not as much as the 15,000 temporary hit points, but still 6,000. You receive 100% of your direct energy damage as healing for 20 seconds. So anyone that fires on your ship during that time for 20 seconds, 100% of that energy becomes healing energy for your ship. Basically, their enemy fire becomes healing for your ship, 100%. You can trigger up to 10 times per second, max 2,566 hull restored, min 320 hull restored. It is part of a set called the Command Platforms, which I wasn't aware until now. But it looks like there are other consoles you can get here. There is a Fleet Support Platform, a Tachyon Pulse Platform, a Defense Platform. And then there's a 2, 3, and 4-piece bonus, integrated enhanced RCS module, encrypted command frequencies, and command platform synergy. I wasn't aware that it was part of a set like that. But that is really cool. I don't know where you get these other things. What a Fleet Support Platform, Tachyon Pulse Platform, Defense Platform. I don't know where these come from. If anybody knows where those come from, please drop me a line in the comments. I'd like to see about getting those to try out that set. Sounds interesting. Sounds like it's definitely for command ships. But these abilities could help this ship too quite a bit. Wow, plus 33% energy weapon damage. That's nice. So these must be command ship things, I'm guessing. Interesting. But this console can be put on any ship, so that's good. Now we come to the stations, and this is where it gets kind of fun or confusing, either way you look at it, if you want to look at it that way. This position right here is the funky one. This one allows either a Lieutenant Commander Engineering Bridge Officer or a Lieutenant Commander Command Officer. Everything else is pretty standard. This is Commander Engineering, this is Lieutenant Commander Science, this is only Lieutenant Tactical, and this is where I was saying The ship is very limited in damage or DPS because it only has a lieutenant tactical station. Now, of course, you can also use the Ensign Universal as a tactical, which I have done, but that limits this ship in tactical abilities. So this ship is very heavy on the engineering and science, but it is very limited on the tactical. But you can mix it up with some command abilities. Now, command abilities are pretty much like intelligence officer abilities, except that they are more team-oriented, meaning they benefit the team more than they benefit you necessarily, or they help the team a lot. Whereas intelligence abilities are more about helping you and more about debuffing your enemy. The command abilities are pretty much work in the same way intelligence abilities do, whereas it doesn't matter if what career type you put it on. It doesn't matter if it's a science engineer or tactical. All the command abilities are the same for every career type. So all that matters is the ranking of the command abilities. Ensign, lieutenant, and lieutenant commander, each rank has different abilities available to it. And you can create a command bridge officer just like you do an intelligence bridge officer, going to the exchange, getting one of those specialization upgrade things, and slapping it on any character you want and upgrading it to a command bridge officer. It's that easy. You can take any character and do that on. So let me go to the one that I had put it on here. Yes, I didn't put it on her. I went ahead and chose her. She is the free Kobali that you got during Dust to Dust during the maze. If you played the maze part and you really took your time to look around that maze, there was a lost Kobali in that maze, and she wanted to join your ship. Well, I, of course, did that, and she has joined my ship. She is basically a free command bridge officer, and they set that up pretty well. You know, they give you the Samsar Cruiser, which is a command ship, and then they also give you the ability to have a free command bridge officer. You just have to go find her. But once you did that, then you've got a free command bridge officer on your ship. So I went ahead and used her because she was free. When we go to her powers, make sure we're on command. I wonder why that's being weird. Anyway, okay. What you do is basically you go to space abilities and then you click on the rank. So this is ensign, and then you scroll down and this is where you find the command abilities, just like where you would find intelligence abilities. I can also train her in an intelligence officer abilities if I wanted to. Then I'd have both command and intelligence officer abilities on her. But this ship that I'm using, the Samsar, does not support intelligence officer abilities. It only supports command. So command abilities, again, are going to be very unique, just like the intelligence. I'm not going to make a whole video right this second and go over every single command ability and what it does, because, again, that will be a whole learning, training process in itself, just figuring out what all the command abilities do. But just know that that's how you do that. You come down here, you select that, and you can train your character in whatever command abilities you want. I actually trained her ensign in all three available command abilities: concentrate firepower 1, overwhelm emitters 1, reroute power from life support 1, and then down here I only put 2 in here that I've tried out so far. And then for the lieutenant commander ability, again, only 2 that I've tried out so far. But there are a lot of command abilities, but just know that most of these command abilities affect your team. These are, in a big way, help your team. So just keep that in mind. Command space abilities are very team-oriented, which actually fits in really well with the Kobali Samsar because it's also a team-oriented ship. So when I go back on the stations for her, this is the command ability I have active right now. Concentrate firepower 1, targets foe. When marked foe is damaged by torpedoes, there is a 10% extra kinetic damage with 100% shield penetration, and it grants torpedo high yield 1 to 1 damager and resets torpedo cooldown. a lot of people say that they like Concentrate Firepower 1. So I wanted to try it out. Seems to be pretty cool. Then I've also got Overwhelm Emitters 2. All energy damage to marked foe triggers to ally 15% of damage as shield regeneration, to foe 15% of damage as shield drain. So on the foe you are draining their shields, and then to your allies you are taking that, I guess, and giving them shield regeneration. Again, even that ability is helping your ally a lot there too. And then this one is really cool. Call Emergency Artillery 1. Targets the foe 2 to 10 kilometer range, 1 minute and 30-second recharge, creates 3 level 61 artillery vessels that fly toward the target's current location. They give 16.5 kinetic damage every 2 seconds while traveling. They fire up to 6 volleys, each dealing the above damage before warping out. So it's just because this ship is not a DPS heavy ship and doesn't do a lot of damage, this is another way you can just add a little more damage to it, this Call Emergency Artillery 1. That's my thinking there anyway. So we'll see how that works out. Otherwise, I've got Torpedo High Yield 2, I got Overload 1. I mean, I could have gone with Fall here, but to be honest with you, it's not much of a powerful ship anyway. So with the Beam Overload, I'm at least getting a guaranteed critical hit with Beam Overload. That's kind of why I went with that. And with Torpedo High Yield, I'm getting as much damage as I can. Plus, I'm using the Romulan plasma torpedoes, which are going to give me plasma damage over time. And these are really powerful torpedoes. This is the one you see where it fires that like long stream of torpedoes. So they can do a lot of damage, and that's probably where I'm going to get most of my damage, is with those plasma torpedoes off of this ship. In a way, it's almost a torpedo boat. I'd probably be better off just putting all torpedoes on this thing, to be honest with you. Tactical Team 1, Directed Energy Modulation 3, Emergency Power to Weapons 3, Engineering Team 2, Emergency Power to Shields 1, Hazard, Science, and Polarize. Of course, you can make that any way you want, but that's what I went with right now, which seems to work all right. As for the traits, obviously ship traits, I have turned, I don't have it, I mean I have it on, I need to turn it off. I'm going to turn off Load Viral Warhead. That's from a different ship, and I don't want that interfering with the damage that I'm going to show you right now on this ship. So we'll just turn that off, and we'll just make sure that Emergency Response is active. This is the trait that specifically comes with this ship. So that is now on. When taking damage, if it's just been or less hull strength, recharge time on hull and shield healing bridge officer abilities is reduced. So that is enabled. That's the only trait we have. Specializations, I put most of my specialization points into intelligence officer. That's just the path that I went. I don't have any in the pilot, so really everything is in intelligence officer right now. So that's what I have on this ship. I don't have any of the command officer abilities going yet. And then no commando, no pilot. Alright, I think at this point it is time to beam into space. So I'm going to pause the video real quick, and then I will come back and we'll take a look at this ship in space. Alright, welcome to space, everybody. This is the Kobali Samsar T6. Now we can see what all the abilities on this ship really do. All the native abilities that it's capable of. First of all, just note my power levels: 125 weapon, 81 shield, 51, 57. Let's look at the stats real quick, see where I'm sitting at. I have power transfer rate of 217%. My hull, holy hull crap. My hull is 92,600. I didn't even know it was that high. I hadn't looked at my hull strength here. That is incredibly high hull. No problem with staying alive. My hull repair rate, holy crap, 284%. Look at my shield regeneration rate, 310 shield every 6 seconds. My shield capacity is rather low, but that's just because this is a regenerative shield array, and it's not covariant or anything, so ultimately it has a low capacity. And I even have a shield capacity console on just to help get the capacity higher, because while this thing is good at hull and shield healing, it kind of lacks a high shield strength. Even though it does have an incredibly high hull, it really does lack that. Now, of course, you could put a different shield on here. Obviously, you could put one with a high capacity, but then you will lose bonuses and stuff. My resists are almost 50%. Crit severity is 60%. Crit chance is 10%. All of these are crit chance consoles. I made sure to go with crit chance consoles this time to get my crit chance up so I could do some more crits. That's about the only way I could try to get some more damage out of this thing, was to do more crits. Also, oh yeah, as far as traits, I do have the auxiliary power configuration offense going, which is giving me an almost 3% all damage improvement on my weapon power or weapon DPS. So that is one way that I'm getting just a tad more damage out of the ship. But then I also have the defense on, which is giving me kinetic and all energy damage, maximum hit point increase, and shield capacity increase just a tad bit there. So those are definitely helping. This one has more hull strength, and then this one is an all damage bonus resistance rating. So basically try to make this a really nice tanky cruiser, but still also do a little bit of damage. I'm not doing a lot of damage, but I can do a little bit of damage. Boy, it is so noisy right around here with all these people. I'm going to get away out here so we can really look at our powers and activate them and stuff. Here's the ship anyway. Let's zoom in. This is the ship. We'll go all the way around. It's very long, very big, and it's got the two pointy winglets at front. I guess the command tower is back here, which is cool. So the bridge is not up here. The bridge is like, I guess, back here toward the back of the ship. A lot of people have said that they really like this design when this first came out. I can't say that it's like my favorite design ever, but it's a cool looking ship. I mean, it looks like a cruiser. When you think of the word cruiser in your head, this is probably the kind of ship you imagine, or the shape of a ship that you imagine. So it's not terrible. One thing I want to look at here is the damage I'm actually outputting on each thing here. You can see this is not terrible for being beam weapons. These are not absolutely terrible. 1166 DPS and then 1457 plasma. I mean, obviously you could go a little bit higher, but you know, using that auxiliary offense from the trait, the Nakara trait, is helping there a little bit, and then of course all the added plasma damage that I'm using is helping as well. The dual beam bank is doing 1516 DPS and then 1895 plasma damage, so that's nice. Kinetic cutting beam does quite a bit of kinetic damage. The plasma torpedo is also doing kinetic damage and plasma damage, so that's nice. So actually, you know, this is not a really big damage outputting ship, but I think I've managed to strike a balance between being a pretty good survivor and healer and helping my team, but at the same time also doing a little bit of damage, so that, you know, I'm not just out there shooting blanks. You know, I'm actually making an impact on something. Alright, so now we can look at the native powers available to this ship. And a lot of these powers are, again, because I have bonuses like the entire Kobali set. But let's first look at the console, because let's say you don't have any of the Kobali stuff on here. This console is called the Regenerative Integrity Field. So that is this, I believe. No, that's the nanite screen. That is not it. This is it. Regenerative Integrity Field. Now, it is actually going to give me 22,000 hit points when I activate this. That is quite a bit of extra hull strength. Considering I'm already at 92,000 or whatever, That's going to take me well over 100,000 hull strength. Then, if I'm taking damage, 100% of that directed energy damage becomes healing for 20 seconds. But I'm not taking damage right now, so I can't show you that part of it. But I can activate it, and we can see the temporary hit points go up for sure. So I'm at 92,613, and the effect on this is pretty cool too. We'll hit that. There it goes. Well, it still says I'm at 92. It must just not show it. Or maybe I need to take damage to show it. I probably need to take damage to show it or whatever, but the effect is cool anyway. But that's a nice ability to help basically if you're dying or you need to, you are losing hull strength. It is a good way to help fix your ship. I'm not sure if you can use it on others. I'll have to try here while we're in sector space. In fact, not sector space, but soul space. I will try every ability and and see if it affects other people. But let's first try it on ourselves. This ability is the shield capacitor. This is from the warp core itself. This is just a native ability that the warp core has. That Kobali shield capacitor, which is a shield heal and shield power buff, which gives you shield regeneration to nearby allies and shield power setting for 10 seconds to nearby allies. But see how it all says nearby allies? Maybe that doesn't actually do anything for us then. Maybe that's simply for allies. I'm not sure. Let's get near an ally. You're my ally today. I'm going to practice on you, ship. So we hit this. We hit this. That's polarized hull. Come on. Okay, that was the wrong thing to hit. This is the right thing to hit. And what this should do is give shield regeneration and a shield power setting. Of course, I won't know if it actually affects him in that way. Yeah, it does. Okay, so it sends out a wave basically and does that to all people within that range. Oh yeah, 25 max. Okay, 5 kilometers. So anybody that's within 5 kilometers of you, this will affect, and up to 25 people. That's a lot. So I take it now he has his shield regeneration increased and shield power setting increased. So that is a cool ability, but that's all ally. You see, that's really not you, it's all ally. So if you're not a team player, that ability doesn't do much. That's all a team player ability right there. You gotta be a team player. Do I even have all of my abilities on here? I feel like I'm missing something. I guess I'm not. Okay, this next one is the reactive nanite screen. So this is, again, a 5 kilometer thing. Any allies within 5 kilometers, this will affect friend and self. So when I receive energy damage, my nearby allies receive hull healing equal to 20% of incoming damage. So if I'm taking damage, my allies will receive hull healing during that time. So activate it and it looks like this. So all these people that now have that going on because of me. So if I'm taking damage, they're getting hull healing. So this is really good in groups, especially around the Borg. That would help a lot. But again, see, that's all about team healing there. This ship is really all about supporting your team. I mean, if you are not in the role of team support, these powers are going to be pretty useless to you. Wow. Well, I think that's kind of it as far as the native powers of this ship go. That's like the yeah, those are all the native powers the ship has. Everything else is like command abilities, which I have here. Concentrate Firepower 1, the Overwhelm Emitters 2, and Call Emergency Artillery 1. But I cannot use these abilities right now because I am not in combat. So I will have to go into combat to show you those abilities, but I will use them. But just know that the command abilities are not native to the ship. That's just whatever you want to put there. So I'll show you the ones that I put there. but know that there is flexibility in whatever command abilities you want to use. But yeah, the native abilities on this ship are those three that I just showed you. Regenerative Integrity Field, the Kobali Shield Capacitor, which is just a warp core feature. This one is the console, basically, the Regenerative Integrity Field. This one is a warp core feature. And this is because of the 4-piece bonus that I have, all 4 pieces installed on this ship. I'm able to activate the reactive nanite screen manually. So like, let's say I come close again, I can use any of these. I don't really have to select a person to use these abilities on. I don't have to select him and then hit, well, oh yeah, no, the Regenerative Integrity Field, because that works on me. But let's see if I can do it on an ally. No, that's a negative. So that Regenerative Integrity Field console only works on self, does not work on ally. So that's just a self ability. So there is one ability that's just self. That's the console. The other two are definitely team oriented. So again, we'll hit this and it'll go to all the ships near me. There you go. See how that worked? They all got that little buff there going. So that's how that works on them. And there it is, Kobali Shield Capacitor. So you see it does affect them in that way. And then again, this one I think is the coolest. And you don't have to select them, you just have to be within 5 kilometers. Even if you fly away, it's still active, so that's nice. So those are the inherent abilities of the ship. Now it's time to go into combat and try this out for reals. So I'm going to, of course, get an ISA queued up. We will go into ISA, and you can watch me activate powers and see how that works in an ISA. Once I do that, of course, that goes pretty quickly. You probably won't be able to focus on that. Then we'll do it a little bit slower. We'll go into Argala and Sakari and take a closer look at how those powers work and help versus PvE, like PvE content. So stand by and I will get an ISA going. And welcome back, everybody. Here we go. This is an ISA run, Infected Space Advanced. No idea how this will turn out here. Hopefully this will be a good run. You never know how these things go. Let's see what happens. Again, I will try to use all of the abilities I can on this ship. Though ISA runs go pretty fast, so you may not see all of them, or I may not have time to communicate all of them to you. But that being said, just watch, and hopefully this will go well. Remember where my buttons are. Regenerate Integrity Field. Remember, a lot of these are team things that will really help the team that we can use as needed. So we will keep an eye out for that. Well, we got 2 Samsars in here. I am not the only one.
We will add your technological and biological distinctiveness to our own.
Warning, ship is under attack.
Here goes concentrate firepower.
Target shields have failed.
Here goes the bombardment. Except it went after that sphere. That's cool. That's a real cool ability, this one right here, the Call Emergency Artillery. Love that one. A lot of people are also finding this one useful, Concentrate Firepower.
Warning, ship
Uh-oh, this is, we're gonna fail. What's happening? I don't want to fail. I don't want to fail. Holy crap, was that close?
Right shield failing. Target's shields have failed. Target's shields have failed.
Your defensive capabilities are unable to withstand us.
More shields.
Lower your shields and await assimilation.
Wow, there's spheres everywhere. A lot more than I thought there would be.
Target's shields have failed.
We will add your technological and biological distinctiveness to our own.
Wow. This is kind of a rough run. Not the best of runs, but, you know, that happens from time to time. Probably just an altogether combined low team DPS, but that's alright. As long as we're careful, we should be okay. Gotta be careful about taking down the generators. We need to take them down at the same time, preferably. Or else we'll be in trouble. I'm not gonna fire. I'm gonna wait, because, okay, that's gone down. There we go. There's the nanites. So let's get the rest down.
Ship is under attack. Target's shields have failed.
Now we just gotta bring this thing down fast.
You will lower your shields and prepare to be boarded.
Okay, he's grav-welling that. That's good, but we gotta bring this thing down faster. Oh, come on, come on, come on. No, 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 no. Go away, nanite sphere.
Have failed.
Go away. Oh, man, that was another close call. So very close.
Your defensive capabilities are unable to withstand us. Lower your shields and await assimilation.
Right shield failing. Target's shields have failed. More shields failing.
Resistance is futile.
Left shield failing.
Ah, I'm falling into the gate.
4 shields failing. Left shields failing.
Still so many spheres. I just want to kind of stay away from the cube, though. It's like instant death.
Right shields failing. Rear shields failing. Left shields failing. Hull integrity below 75%. Hull integrity below 50%. Hull integrity below 25%.
We are
Rear
below.
shields failing.
Surrender your vessel and prepare for assimilation.
Four shields failing. Rear shields failing. Right shield
So much going on right now, I can't even
failing.
commentate.
Hull integrity below 50%.
Just so much happening right now. Trying to stay alive.
Hull integrity below 25%. Rear shields failing.
Oh, this is a rough run for sure. Little surprised by that. But, it happens, it happens.
We will add your technological and biological distinctiveness to our own.
We are definitely divided, that's for sure. I think we got people attacking the cube. Here I am attacking the gate.
Shields failing.
We're all kind of split up doing different things. That causes a problem. But I always go the traditional route, take down the gate before the cube. That's at least the way I was taught when I was a kid.
Shields failing. Four shields
You
failing.
will lower your shields
Shields
and
failing.
prepare to be boarded.
Now we can go after the cube. Wow. Well, I didn't blow up. It came very close, but you can see with all the heals at my disposal, I was able to do quite well. And it looks like I'm doing just over 10k. So I'm not terrible, but this is definitely a low DPS team. Holy crap, somebody's only doing 5k. Ouch. That hurts, doing almost 6k in the 10k DPS channel, might I add. That's rough right there. But everyone else was over 10k. And yeah, so my ship is parsing right about 10.6k, so not the best, but also above average, because as long as you can hit 10k, at least you're above average from doing pugs. A lot of pugs will have people that are very low numbers, you know, 3, 4, 5, maybe up to 6k. So not terrible, but not the best. But it does show that this is definitely not a DPS ship, the Samsar. This is definitely a healing ship meant to do healing for your team and so forth. So now that we've done ISA, it is time to go do the other patrols. We're going to do Argala and then Sakari, and we can take a closer look at the features of this ship in combat against those enemies. Something a little more slower than Isa. See, I don't think I have any damage, so we are actually good to go straight from here and do that. So let's get it going. Okay, let's go to Delta. Oh, check out that lag. Gotta love it. We'll do Sakari since we're right here first. Yeah, these ISA runs are definitely getting weirder and weirder, especially from channels that you would think would be complete aces at them. Sometimes you get a good run, sometimes, well, you don't. That's just the way the cookie crumbles. Alright, let's do this one. This is Sakari. This is against the APUs. And we'll focus on some of the abilities of the ship a little bit more closer. I'm not gonna focus too much on the command abilities, because those, well, of course, are interchangeable to whatever command abilities you want to use, and that's different than what I might want to use. Just know that the command abilities are definitely very team-oriented. So that's the goal with those new command abilities, and this ship can use them, but yeah, very team-oriented. What I want to focus on with this ship right now are the native abilities of the ship, specifically with the whole Kobali space set on this thing. Okay, let's let the APUs come in. Let's focus first on this one. This is the reactive nanite screen. I think we'll try to look at each button independently and see what it does while we're in battle here. So the reactive nanite screen affects the friend and self, so it does affect us, but also your ally. It says when receiving energy damage, nearby allies receive whole healing equal to 20% of the incoming damage for 15 seconds. Oops. Let's do that. I don't know if we'll have any friends. No, I've got all enemies right now.
Warning, ship is under attack. Target's shield has failed.
That's a very cool looking effect. That's the command effect, Overwhelm Emitters. That's a pretty cool effect, looking effect. Alright, since we can't use nanite screens, we don't have any allies. Let's look at the next one. This one is Regenerative Integrity Field. Okay, this one is definitely just for ourselves. You gain temporary hit points. Your heal is effectiveness as your HP decreases. You receive 100% of your directed energy damage as healing. So you get whole restored and you get hit points. So as we go into combat with these ships, I will enable this, and you can check that out.
Warning, ship is under attack. Target's shields have failed.
And it's expired.
Target's shields have failed.
You can see, definitely versus PvE, this is a pretty powerful ship against PvE. Okay, now let's do, I'm going to wait for the timer to run out on this. This is the shield capacitor. Again, it affects your friend and yourself, but it gives you shield regeneration to nearby allies and shield power. We don't have any allies. No allies, but we get the ability that at least works on ourselves.
Target's shields have failed.
Let's do a run. Check that out. Love that. I want to try to take some damage.
Right shield's failing.
It's hard to show you how the nanite screen kicks in, but if I were to take a lot of damage, maybe we'll try it in the next run. I will purposely try to take a lot of damage so that you can see how the nanite screen kicks in at the very end as you're taking damage. Now, one thing you'll notice is that a lot of the powers here are team-based, and that really is the theme for this Kobali Samsar. Its native abilities are really team-based, ally, helping the ally, helping your teammates. Also, the command abilities themselves seem to be pretty much geared to helping your teammates, allies. This is also a theme that's going to be carried through in Season 10 when all of that comes out. Pretty much the new ship abilities and things coming out are going to be very, very team-oriented, as well as building upon hull strength and hull healing and that sort of thing. This Samsar is like a foreshadowing of what is to come in Season 10 as far as ships that are hull tanking, hull healing, that sort of thing. That is how Cryptic went with the Samsar and the command abilities. So that's a little different. Definitely different than the intelligence abilities. If you are not much of a team player or you don't play in a team, these abilities probably won't help you much. But if you do, they really can help your team out. Now here our team is going to be the Benthans. We're going to use them as our teammates here. They will be the ally. So when I hit this, there you go. See, it's working on my ally as well as myself.
Target's shields have failed.
So you just saw how I enabled the reactive nanite screen, and it was affecting myself and the ally. A very big team feature. It'll help you in a pinch, especially against Borg or whatever. It will help. Let's see, we'll enable this one now. This one is just to myself.
Shields have failed.
We'll wait for this one to cool down, and then I'll try it. Okay, let's see. That Benthan is kind of damaged. That Benthan. Okay, watch this. As we come around and do this, that should heal his shields. Did it? I don't know that it did. It's supposed to give shield regeneration to the ally. I guess it did, but just not a lot. We'll try it again on another run.
Rear shields failing. Target's shields have failed.
These are Hirogen I'm fighting here.
4 shields failing. Target's shields have failed. Target's shields have failed.
Okay. Good. Just still waiting on this. This one has a very long cooldown. It's unfortunate, but it does.
Warning, ship is under attack. Target's shields have failed.
That battleship went bye-bye.
Warning, ship is under attack. Target's shields have failed. Target's shields have failed. Rear shields failing. Target's shields have failed. 4 shields failing.
Okay, this one could use some healing, but this needs to hurry. I'm gonna try it and we'll see if this changes up here any. Just so you can see what the ability does. Yeah. Oh yeah, there you go. Look at that. Totally restored their shields. So as you can see, that's a big boost to your team. Using that there can heal their shields quite well. Alright, final battle.
Warning, ship is under attack.
And that
Shields failing.
is how that is done. Let's discard. Look at my inventory is so full, but I want to take that package. All right. Wow. There we go, everybody. Not now. Okay. So that is the Kobali Samsar with the complete Kobali space set on it. Well, my summary is pretty much this. It's a free ship. First, you have to take into consideration this is pretty much a free ship. You did not have to spend money to buy it. All you had to do was spend time in the game to earn commendations to earn this ship during the anniversary event. That means it's a little different in terms of a ship you would actually spend money on. Since we're not spending money on this ship, it's hard to be extremely disappointed with it. If this were a ship I had actually spent money on, I would say it maybe was overpriced, or you are pretty much paying for the console sets, which are pretty nice. And you should note, you can put the console sets and the space set on other ships. That makes this ship, at least the abilities of this ship, more useful, because if the ship itself is not to your liking, perhaps you can put the console set or the deflector, impulse, warp, shield, whatever, on another ship and enjoy some of those regeneration abilities that this ship has. So in that right, this ship is good by those standards, by the fact that it has some really appealing healing abilities. These three things here from the space set make it quite nice. Again, though, you only get the warp core if you get this ship. You do not get the warp core without this ship, but you can get the deflector, impulse, and shields from dust to dust. Also, of course, you would not get the regeneration integrity field either unless you got this ship. That is the universal console that comes with the ship, but again, you can put it on any other ship. It's a good ability, for example, on an escort. Think about escorts that do take a lot of damage and are glassy in a sense, but you do want to be able to stay alive or heal yourself and go into combat. Well, a lot of these regeneration abilities from this Kobali set, even this console right here, regenerative integrity field, could help out an escort quite a bit. But they can also do other things. They can help out a science vessel, a healing vessel, a support vessel. And that's really the nature of the Kobali Samsar, is a support vessel. This is not a DPS boat. It is a support vessel. It is team-oriented. All of these abilities are team-oriented, even down to the command abilities. All team-oriented. If you do not play in a lot of teams, you don't play in a lot of STFs, these abilities probably aren't going to help you a whole lot except for that integrity field one. That integrity field, this one right here, is pretty much the bomb diggity. This right here is an awesome ability for healing. The rest are going to help your team and yourself. So it just depends your play style and what kind of ships you play as. I can tell you this, in upcoming Season 10, Iconian stuff seems to be leaning a lot toward having hull tanks as ships. So maybe these kinds of abilities will help us a lot in the future. I don't know. But team-based stuff is definitely the way Cryptic went with the Samsar and with the command abilities. And the fact that this is the first ship I've flown with command abilities, it really hones that in. You can really feel the team-based nature of this ship. But again, it is what you make it. I would not say this is the best cruiser I've ever flown. I know a lot of people like the design and so forth. It's cool. Not the best ship I've flown, but I also have to consider it's a free ship. It's not a ship I spent money on. It was easy to get. So with that, I'm kind of in the middle on this ship. It's not the best, but it's certainly not the worst. It's just there. It's a free tier 6 ship with some really cool abilities that might work better on other ships. And really, that's about it. The warp core is cool, and to get the full set, of course, you need the warp core, which comes just with this ship, and that console just with this ship. So if those are appealing to you, you may want to look into that. Obviously, it's too late to get the ship now, post-anniversary, but for those that got it, maybe you'll know what you can do with it and expect out of it, and how you can use those consoles and everything else on other ships, which could help as well. well, that's where I'm going to leave this ship. I'm just going to leave it right there in the middle, kind of neutral on it. It's not a ship I would particularly run in the long run. I think that I have flown more interesting and fascinating and fun cruisers. So this is, for me, this is not a long-term ship, but it's a fun ship to just play around with for a little bit, and I do like playing with all the Kobali features on it. And in fact, I may use them on another ship to see how they work on another type of cruiser or even an escort. Because I think the abilities on this ship that it comes with, is the console, the other Kobali stuff, in combination with certain things, could be quite advantageous, but we will see. Alright, so there you go, everybody. That's my review of the Kobali Samsar Tier 6 Cruiser. Hope you all enjoyed that. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next one.